Pada Ramadan tahun ini, masyarakat di seluruh dunia, termasuk warga Amerika dan Indonesia, sedang bekerja, belajar, dan beribadah dari rumah. Meskipun kita berjauhan secara fisik, semangat kita tetap bersama dalam menjadikan bulan suci Ramadan sebagai momen untuk refleksi diri dan peduli dengan sesama. Saya Heather Variava, Kuasa Usaha Interim Kedubes AS, mengucapkan selamat menunaikan ibadah puasa.
Hello everyone, welcome to Ad America TV. My name is Anton. I'm one of Ad America's e-guides. And Ad America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center here in Jakarta, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. We would like to welcome all of our audience joining us online, and for the time being, we have moved to a solely digital platform so you can enjoy our events from the comfort of your own home. For those of you who are joining through Zoom, welcome. I'd like to explain a couple of features. You can use the chat box feature to chat with fellow participants and also to give the questions for our Education USA advisors tonight. And in this episode of Ad America TV, we are going to discuss why the United States is the best study destination for you. So if you are planning to study to the United States, this is definitely an event for you. All right, before we start today's event, I would like to break the ice with a question. And the question is, how many international students studied in the United States last year? I'll repeat the question one more time. How many international students studied in the United States last year? You can answer this question through the comment section of our social media platforms. And also don't forget to tag us at Ad America on Instagram while watching this event. And without further ado, I would like to invite our speaker for tonight, Santika Salim. How are you, Santika?
Anton. Hi, Anton. I'm good. Thank you. You're looking great.
Oh, thank you. So do you. It's great to hear that you're doing great. And what are we going to talk about tonight?
So yeah, we are going to talk about why United States is one of the best destination to study. We'll talk about many things, and I'm hoping that this will be helpful for people who are still trying to decide whether they want to go to United States or other countries. So yeah, here Fina and me are going to convince them to choose US instead of other countries. So yeah.
All right, that sounds great. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, please take it away.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you.
yet another EducationUSA event. Thank you for joining in. Here in Zoom, we are getting crowded here, but also those of you who are watching us from other platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We are also on Instagram. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to have a really interesting discussion tonight. It's slightly somewhat light compared to the previous topic, but I'm pretty sure it will be very informative for you guys. And again, if this is your first time and you kind of like want to know more about who we are, what is Education USA, what do we do, this short presentation is for you guys. All right, so Education USA, we are part of the US State Department. We have over 400 international student advising centers in more than 170 countries. So as you can see here, we are practically all over the world. And what we do as advisors, we assist everyone who wants to study higher education in the United States. So higher education means S1, S2, and S3, bachelor's, master's, and PhD. And all of our services are free of charge. And we can go to the next slide. And let's see, what do we have here? Can we go to the next slide, please? All right, so in Indonesia, of course, not only in EducationUSA at America, like what Santika mentioned earlier, but we actually have 8 centers with 10 advisors across Indonesia. So I'm going to go through a little bit here. So we got 2 in Jakarta, 1 at the US Embassy with David and Iqbal. And we have, of course, in America with Santika and myself. And then we also have 2 in Surabaya, 1 at the US Consulate General with Hesky, and then 1 at Universitas Surabaya with Ambar. We also have 1 in Medan at the U.S. Consulate Medan with Jeffrey. And then we have 1 in Malang at the Universitas Muhammadiyah with Zaki. We also have 1 in Makassar at Universitas Fajar with Chandani. And last but not least, we also have 1 in Banda Aceh at Universitas Islam Negeri Araniri with Lilis. So if there is no Education USA where you live, you don't have to worry. You can contact one of the centers that is the nearest to your to where you're living. But if you also want to contact us here at America, the Education USA advisors at America, such as myself and Santika, you are more than welcome to do that as well. And I mean, in fact, since we're doing this digital with America TV, we actually see a lot of you guys are actually watching us, not just from the Java area, but we actually see a lot of an increasing number of you guys watching from the eastern part of Indonesia, even from Sulawesi and Sumatra. So it's great, and we urge you to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to assist you in everything related to studying in the US. We can go to the next slide. Do we have the next slide, please? All right. So with Education USA, we have what we call 5 steps to US study. So we start with step 1, which research your options. So if you're still thinking about, should I study in the US? Which basically what we're going to talk about tonight. If you still need some convincing about studying in the US, why should I study in the US and not other countries? Let's have a chat. Clearly, it's what we're going to have tonight. But if you want to also, maybe you're still confused, the differences between private and public, or maybe or master's degree and PhD candidates. And there are a lot of options out there. We're talking about full ride government scholarship, or maybe full ride scholarship from the university, or maybe you receive a scholarship from your employer, or maybe you're looking for a scholarship outside from an institution or something like that. There are actually so many things that we can talk about in step 2. in step 2. And then once we're figure that out, we can definitely move on to step 3, which is completing your application. This is where basically I'm really coming in here. We as an advisor are really coming in here to assist you. And if this is not your first time, you may already know by now that one of the, if not the most popular service, I would say, that people actually consult to us is essay review. Because US essay is just so unique in so many ways that a lot of us found it really challenging to write it, but don't you worry, because we are definitely here. In fact, we have this presentation almost every month to let you guys know, everything about essay writing, and not just essay. We also talk about resume and CV, scores to aim for GRE or GMAT, and the importance of, English standardized tests such as TOEFL and IELTS. So there are so many things going on in step 3. We're getting very technical on step 3, right? Because you're going to submit your application. And then once you submit your application, you're going to wait from the university, right? And then the university will let you know if you get accepted. And then once that happened to you, we can move on to step 4, which is applying for your student visa. We guide you in this part, the step-by-step to apply this the US student visa. We're not going to apply it for you. There are a lot of people actually ask us that question, but we're guiding you because it's actually very straightforward. Everything is online. But for some people, it can be quite confusing. There are some forms that you need to fill and so on. So basically, we are guiding you on that. And then after that, before you depart to the US, we have what we call the last step, which is the PDO, pre-departure orientation. Although maybe this year we're not going to have it because of the current situation, but we're going to wait it out. Well, let's see if we're going to have it. So please stay tuned on that. And again, because all of our events basically is always open for public when we are still open in America. So everyone can actually come to our events, including the pre-departure orientation. So although PDO is technically for people who already get accepted, but even though you are not going to depart to the US yet, you are more than welcome to join this event. All right, so those are the 5 steps that we provide for you to get closer to your dream, which is to study in the US. And so we can go to the next slide. And so, yeah, with EducationUSA at America, although at America is currently not open for public, but Santika and I, we are still available for an advising session via Zoom. So we have one-on-one online advising, and so you can definitely reach out to us. We are available every day, just like before when we are still in America. So we available from 1 until 9 p.m. Obviously, except right now, because if you're going to this Zoom ID, a Zoom meeting ID, there won't be anyone letting you guys in because we are here running this event. But when there is no event, basically I will be the one who is taking the evening shift from 5 until 9, and Santika is available from 1 until 5 p.m. So this is the Zoom ID. Feel free to save it on your phone or take a picture. And then whenever you are ready to talk to us, you're basically just need to put that ID, no password required. And if there is nobody in the room, meaning there is no advising session going on, one of us will let you in the room. And if there is an advising going on, we're going to leave you a message in Zoom, as letting you know that, okay, we have, a session going on, feel free to wait, or maybe you want to leave first. Technically, have to make an appointment with us. So similar with when we are still in America, it's our advising session system is first come, first serve. So basically just coming in whenever from 1 until 9. All right. So we look forward to talking to you guys. All right. So I think that would be all. But yeah, I'm going to give you back to Santika, and we're going to have a really fun presentation from Santika.
Thank you, Fina, for the, comprehensive introduction about EducationUSA and what we actually do. Personally, I find what we do, Fina and I do every day on daily basis in Education USA is very enjoyable. So on a daily basis, we meet a lot of new people who came in just to ask us on how do I, go to US to study and where do I start, what do I need, and things like that. So we meet a lot of different people every day. So I think we are like trained to meet new people and be friendly with them. So if you are hesitating to meet us, don't be, because I promise you we won't make it awkward. I mean, we are in a room full of people right now online, but I'm a bit awkward, but I promise you, if we are doing one-on-one, it will be better. So yeah, without further ado, I think we will start with the presentation. Why the US is the best study destination for you. So basically, I did this last year, but it's a bit different. So I modified it based on, because we are doing it online right now. So in the next slide, you will see, next slide, please. Okay, so I will break it down into 5 categories tonight, because there's actually a lot of things that we can talk about from A to Z about studying in US. But today I want to focus on what kind of experiences that you are thinking about when you are going to US to study. What kind of experiences that Fina and I got when we study in US. So a little bit background about Fina and me. Both of us actually went to United States for our bachelor degree. So we find it very rewarding, and the experience is something that is priceless. So we naturally advocate for U.S. education, and here we are telling people to choose U.S. Over other countries. So today we will talk about the 5 topics here for choosing US as the best study destination for you. The first one is the choice. The second one is quality. So when we talk about choice, you will be wondering how many universities that you can apply to and everything like that, and we will cover that. And the second one is the quality. So a lot of you may have questions about quality of some universities that we rarely heard here. And the third one is culture and diversity. A lot of questions also from advisees who came in. You watch a lot of Hollywood movies, and you never been to US before, and you're wondering, is it like, is it like in the movies and all of that things. So the fourth one is the opportunities that you have as an international students, and they really appreciate international students in a way. You have opportunities that maybe some other countries, or not most countries, don't give to their international students. And last but not least is the affordability. So I'm going to compare how affordable it is, because a lot of people think going to the United States is going to be more expensive compared to other countries, which I think is not true. And I'm going to show you some statistics later, but try to make it fun. So next slide. Okay, let's talk about choice. So how many choice you have when you talk about applying to universities or program in the United States? Next slide. So when you see this picture, this is the common universities that you know. So if you realize each state only have one logo, right? So does that mean only one university in one state or not? So apparently, if you look at this map here, it's very colorful. And if you see one logo here, in each, most of them have one logo each state. But that does not mean that this, one state only have one university. This only show that what a lot of people or Indonesians really, commonly heard about the university. So if you see Nevada only have one Nevada university there, which is no, we have a lot of universities in that one state alone. So yeah, what I want to show you in this picture is this is what we commonly know, right? So the next slide. Okay, so this, if you I have more university logo here in this picture. This means actually, in one state alone, you can choose, different universities, different program from different universities, similar programs in different universities, compare and contrast them, which one is the one that you actually look for. And in next slide, so this is the 2018 statistic, the best college in every state that costs less than $2,000 in a year. So I took this from the howmuch.net, and if you can see, there's actually, they categorize it based on the color, and you actually have a lot of options here. You can see different universities that's not mentioned in the previous picture as well. So what I want to tell you here is actually it's quite affordable, and actually only there are more affordable universities compared to those who are more expensive. If you can see the dark blue color there. So yeah, in next slide. Okay, so talking about choice, there are 50 states in the United States, and in total of 5,000, more than 5,000, 5,000 universities. So that alone will give you a headache on like, how do I choose, the universities and the program. So first thing first, this is the first step that Fina and I like to tell a lot of advices and anyone who wants to start planning their studies to US is knowing what you are looking for, know what you want to study. And, when you start digging deeper and doing your research on, okay, which universities offer the program that I want. Now you narrow down, a lot more universities. So you narrow down the universities that have the program that you want. And then when you look deeper into the program that you want, you see what kind of courses that they offer, what kind of uniqueness that they have, whether it's your focus or not, and you narrow down further. So that alone will give you an idea on how many choice that you have. And I want to let you know that you don't have a limit on how many universities that you apply to in the United States at once. They don't limit you. So you can apply to as many as university as you want. And community college, they have more than 1,000 community college. If you never heard about community college before, it's for people who graduated their high school. Basically, it's for bachelor pathway. So if you have high school degree, high school certificate, and you want to study bachelor, and you don't want to go to university as a freshman, you can go to community college first and then do the transfer of the pathway called 2+2 transfer program. So that's for the bachelor pathway. And there are more than 10 types of university: private, nonprofit, land grant, research, public, state, Ivy, Big Ten, liberal arts, Jesuit, and a lot more. So you can also sort, what kind of universities that you're looking for based on the types of universities. Generally, more affordable universities are public and state universities, but it does not mean that private and private nonprofit will be very, very expensive and impossible to afford for international students. So yeah, I want you to look at open your thinking that you can put in more options. So like plan A, plan B, and plan C, not only one plan. So here, Fina and me want to focus on, you don't have to just have one type of university that you also apply to. You can choose more than one type, and you can choose more than one universities or in United States. So in the program or the major, actually they have more than 75 major options. And I always say it's harder to find something that United States don't have than what they have. So there's this one time, one advisee first time came into EdAmerica and meet me, and he is very specific on what kind of master degree he wants. He said, Santika, I want to have this master degree in engineering and business, something related to business. And I asked him back, like, have you, heard someone study that field before in United States, or it's just what you want to do, right? And if he have done any research, if United States have that kind of program. So he told me, no, he haven't done any research, and he never heard anyone have that double degree before, master double degree before in United States. And I also doubt that such specific program exists, because it's two combination of two major that's a bit different, business and engineering, right? So I go ahead and search in Google as specific as master of engineering. I think it's chemical engineering and business. And there's actually a few universities in United States that offer that specific dual degree that he is looking for. So actually, it's kind of harder to find something that they don't have compared to what they have, because of the options. And next, I want to talk about the flexibility. So if I mentioned to you about the community college, that's one of the flexibility that they actually have. You can transfer. So by the end of the community college, the 2 years, you get AA degree or D3 in Indonesia. And then you can transfer those credits to university. And if you got accepted for the transfer, you start as a student in the university in the 3rd year, and then 4th year, and then you got your bachelor. So that's one of the flexibility that I always tell the students. If they are applying for bachelor, don't hesitate to have a backup plan and all of that, because of the flexibility. And even if you are if you go to university and you find that you find like a better program for you, but not in the same university, and you wonder if you can try to transfer them, definitely yes. So that's kind of the flexibility that we love. And for master and for PhD, there's also a lot of flexibility. And I heard Fina say this a lot, that they are decentralized. So it means it's a bit different from their bachelor programs. And for master and PhD, there are a lot of flexibility in terms of the opportunities, especially what kind of funding that they provide for their international students. Okay, next slide. This is the degree. Like I mentioned, there's more than 75. So here's just some example here. So for Bachelor of Arts, it's well-rounded courses, usually covering arts, humanities, social science. Common majors for these Bachelor of Arts are like anthropology, communication, English, history, and language. Psychology and sociology also included in this Bachelor of Arts. And Bachelor of Science is more technical. So it's something, very common with technology, health, nursing, criminal justice, and computer or programming. And if you are asking questions about degrees in law and medicine that are not offered in undergraduate level in US, they're not offered. Instead, they are completed as professional study after receiving a bachelor degree. So it's kind of like the extension of that, and that's like a separate certificate that you have to earn for that law and medicine degree. Okay, next. All right. So another, rarely degree actually also exists here. Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Engineering, Science in Nursing, Philosophy, Architecture, Design, and many more. When I do this research and I'm making this presentation, I'm quite surprised by the number of, the number of options that is actually offered to the students who are studying in the United States. There are, I can, if I mention this to Indonesian, they will think this is very random. There is a beauty school in United States that gives you certificate on, comprehensive certificate that allows you to be an expert in beauty. I'm like, okay, That's really, really cool. So if you are thinking, you want to study something rare or something that's rarely heard, don't give up on it, and keep looking. And if you cannot find it on their university website, you can definitely contact them and ask, your interest is to study this and that. What would you recommend for the program in your university? So approach them if you cannot find anything, or if you are, not sure, you can try to find Fina or me or other Education USA advisor. All right, next one. We talk about the quality. So higher education in the United States, a lot of people know the quality is very, very good. And I'm going to tell you kind of like why and the reason behind it. Next. So the university itself is world recognized, and the flexible system makes the student have, well-rounded. When you go to US to study, you don't only focus on your grades in the classroom, even if, in the end, you will, look at your GPA, because that's like the result of what you study. But when you, start a course in the US university, they will give you a syllabus, and that syllabus is not only containing 100% graded based on your test or your quiz. So they will break it down, that 100%, into a lot more things, like class participation, class discussion, group paper, group discussion, a lot of things like that. So it's not solely based on test or other things, but they make it very flexible and holistic. In a way, they don't only want their student to master one aspect of how you study and how you interact, but they also want you to learn outside of the classroom. And the learning style, I find it very independent, and I will ask Fina later if she find it the same feeling on this learning style. I find the US education that I experience is very independent. So when you go to the college and the university, the professor won't tell you, don't forget you have this and that, and it's this much on your GPA by the end of this quarter. So you have to go back to the syllabus and remind yourself that this research paper that I'm doing weigh like 40%, 30%, and that will boost your morale to like, okay, I need to start. And if you don't understand anything, you will have to find them to ask the question, because they want check on you. Hey, do you understand what I'm saying, and all things like that, because they basically want their student to be more proactive. In a way, they train everyone to be able to seek what they need and what they want. So they usually have, these professors usually have what they call office hour. If you don't understand anything and the class is over, or you find it difficult to ask in front of so many students in the class, you can go and find the professor during their office hour, and they will be very glad to help. And the grading itself, like I've mentioned, they break it down very specifically, and there is no, I think this is like one of the greatest things, because the professor is kind of like the person who developed the syllabus. So each course, even if you're taking, let's say you're taking maths basic, or the same maths basic, but you're taking it with different professor, they can have a different item in their syllabus as well. So yeah, last but not least, it's holistic. So it includes the application also. We like to let students know that when a lot of students came to us, hi Fina or hi Santika, my GPA is not good. I don't know if I can go to US to study because my GPA is not good. I don't have a lot of I don't have good grades. I don't do a lot of activities outside of the class. I only have this much work experience and achievement and certificate. You don't have to worry too much about it, because it's quite holistic. So They don't only look at your grade, especially the one that you cannot change already. Let's say your report card or your bachelor degree GPA. You cannot change that if you're applying for, the next level of your study in US. But what you can do is actually giving your best application, let's say your statement of purpose, personal essay, your letter of recommendations, and as much as possible, do things that you can put in your CV or your essay to make it look more competitive compared to other students who are applying. So give your best in other aspect of the application, and they will also consider that very much. And that's called holistic. It's not because, oh, you don't have 3.9 GPA, I'm going to reject you because our school is da da da. So it's not happening in US at all. And do your best for your TOEFL and IELTS or GRE or GMAT, or if you're aiming for the bachelor, ACT and SAT. Those are big deal because you can retake them if you don't reach your target. But again, you have to do your best for your application, and they will see it holistically. All right, next, flexibility. I think I mentioned this, but I'm going to go through it very briefly. For bachelor, there are two pathways. The 2+2 transfer to from the community college to the university. And the directly 4 years in university. So you start as the freshman for the directly to university one. And in master degree, it's offered in 1 year, 1 until 2 years program. I've seen programs that is 1 year, and it's meant for professional, but they will give the same certificate as the 2 year program. So this is also the advantage of the flexibility that's offered in United States universities. You don't have to. It's quite case by case. So it's not like if I don't have this, if I don't have that, I'm guaranteed to be accepted, or they will reject me or things like that. So do your research because this kind of program exists, and if it is for you and you suit their criteria, go ahead and try to apply for it because it's I think it's a very good opportunity. And the PhD program varies from 3 to 5 years or more. And in PhD, I'm talking about the flexibility when we like to recommend that if you're applying for the PhD, you can try to approach the professor if you can find it, and if the faculty do not say anything about not contacting the professor, and try to make connection first. And if you are comfortable and find same topic for the research, then that's very nice. You have one less things to worry, like when you go to the university, will you work well with the professor or not? Okay, next one. Right, this one is for undergrad. Most university will allow you to be in the undecided major, especially in liberal arts colleges, or change major until your third year. That allow you to explore more courses in the first 2 years, the general education or the core classes. So the first 2 years, the logic behind why you can transfer your first 2 years in community college to university for the bachelor is because the first 2 years is the general education or the core classes. So when you did your general education or core classes, then you can transfer it. So all of the bachelor degree, the first 2 years is the general education or core classes. And most of the time you don't have to choose what kind of major you want when you apply for, the first year or the freshman. A lot of students actually, one of them I think is me. I find myself quite taken aback because I never know that I can do pottery before I, took one of the classes in the college. Because it's kind of like they give you freedom to choose what you want to do in some classes. We call it electives. So I see this one class that's interesting. So I go ahead and took it, and I never know that I like pottery before. So a lot of things that you can explore there, and that will lead you to decide, oh, I actually really love this subject, so I want to focus on this and take this major. So the first 2 years is for you to explore and really find out what you want to do, and you can decide for what kind of major you want. But having the opportunity to explore first before jumping into any of the major that you have to decide before is very nice. Next. Okay, so this is also for the bachelor. This is the two-year community college and 2-year university. This is the range of so one of the benefit going to community college first and transfer to university is the cost. It will cost you less, and the range is here. So it's 20 until 25, and in university it's 36 until 55. So if you can see, the cost is actually kind of like almost half of what university costs. So going to community college actually save the first 2 years of tuition fee, and you can use it for the university later on. And another advantage is actually the adaptation. Community college generally have, if you are coming from high school, it will not be as shocking as going to a lecture room that have 100 students. So going to this community college is kind of like a good transition and adaptation process for a lot of students, especially from international students in United States. All right, next one. And we're going to talk about culture. This one is quite fun, and I think Fina and I are, quite influenced in their culture, and it shapes who we are today. When we back to Indonesia, and we are like, okay, so it's kind of like a reverse. So a lot of people say, if you go to US, you will have, you will experience a culture shock. You will be shocked on this and that and blah blah blah. But I personally, when I go there, I am like, wow, this is nice. Wow, this is great. And after I finish my degree and I come back to Indonesia, I'm like, okay, I'm shocked. So I'm actually experiencing culture shock when I come back to Indonesia. So it's not what people actually generally experience, which is quite interesting to say. So next, I'm going to talk about how unique American culture is. So they like to call United States as a melting pot. It's where Native American, Latin American, Africans, Asian, come together in one place and share what they have from their origin country. And this is one of the reasons why university in the United States really look forward to have international students, because if you think about it, like in one class, if they have students from 10 or 12 other countries, imagine what the local students can learn from these 12 different countries just by talking or interacting with the students. They don't have to go to the country, because it's like their representative is there for them, right? And they will definitely bring what they are experienced in their country. So it's kind of like something natural. It's not something that it's not something that you can put in your resume or CV. But when they see that, and when you write your personal essay or statement of purpose, they will kind of know what kind of value that you will give to their diversity or international community. And there are so many international community in the United States. I can think of a very unique one is if you go to university that have a lot of international students or Indonesian students. There is this community called now I forget about it. I think it's the one in the University of Isasu. It's Permias. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I just got distracted with that. So the name is Permias, and they have a lot of Permias is for Indonesians, Indonesian community in the United States. they exist in several states in the United States. I don't have it on top of my mind. And some of them actually have smaller groups of each university that have a lot of Indonesian students in it. So you don't have to worry about, community at all, because you can find international community if you don't have more Indonesians to relate to. And there are festivals. This is very, very, what do I call this? This is very exciting for me, especially because I never kind of like, I'm not into festivals before I study in US. And when I'm there, there's like, once there's a festival, there's this, food fair, a garage sale, or whatever it is, like they put on the road, and it's open for public. You can go and you just enjoy whatever there is. They make this food, traditional food. There's dance, and there's also talk shows. So festival is very interesting, and one of the most well-known celebration is like the I have the picture here, but I forgot the name. Oh my god, this is why I put the picture, guys. The Halloween, yes. So that is one of the most celebrated, and Christmas, and of course New Year. They have a lot of other festivals like locally. So depends on which state you are going, they will have something to celebrate, and that's very interesting to see that each state actually have their own culture and festivals. If you have the opportunity to travel, of course, that will also shape on your perspective, seeing different things, even if it's the same country. It's very interesting. Each state actually have their kind of like their law. So yeah, that's very interesting to talk about. And next slide. Okay, I think the slide is somewhere that we have to wait for a bit. So after this, we will have a Q&A. Don't forget to put in your questions in the chat box if you are in Zoom, and the comment box if you are in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or other social media platforms. We will be happy to answer you. And we are hoping to, receive questions that a lot about what kind of experiences and things that we went through in the United States when we study. And if it helps, like how you want to ask us about why we choose US instead of other countries. Basically, regarding anything that you want to know about studying in US. This is what the session is for, and most of our sessions, purpose for. And other than that, I think we have a very good attendees today, because when I was doing the introduction, there's some pop up like wow, and I'm wondering what happened. Okay, so we have an alumni here from the Duke University. Hello, Mas Sostro. Thank you for attending. And okay, the slide is back. So we are going back to the next point. Proactiveness, open-mindedness. Sorry, previous slide. Okay, so proactiveness. So a lot of advice came to me asking, Mbak Santika, what happened if you go to US and you are scared and you don't know what to do, like you're lost. So my first solo travel is to United States, and I never traveled on my own before. And when I first arrived in the airport, I got lost. I just follow people where they walk, and apparently that international or like tourist or whatever, someone who don't have US passport should go. So I don't know what to do, right? And I look around and everyone is different from me, and I don't know what to do. And I just go ahead and approach someone, and I ask them, I'm sorry, I don't know where I should go, and I'm not the citizen here. And this lady is very, very friendly, and she's like, are you okay? And I can find someone for you to tell you what to do, and where to guide you, where to let you know how the transportation work here. So yeah, things like that. It requires you to be proactive and actually ask what you are, what you have in mind, because then people cannot guess what you have in mind. And the next one is the openness of them. Like I said, I don't know this lady, and I just ask her where I should go because I'm lost, and she's very open about it. To actually ask me where you're from, is this your first time traveling, and everything like that. Other than that, if other experience that I had is when I'm waiting for the bus in the bus stop and I look very lost again. And this person actually asked me if I'm okay and if I am waiting for certain number of bus. So they put number in their bus to be recognized as as common public transportation works. And I don't know which bus to take because I don't know the direction. And I told him where I'm going, and he gave me the direction on which bus to take. So I find their culture is very proactive and open and friendly. Of course, we cannot avoid unpleasant things no matter where we go, but as long as you are very sensitive and polite, proactive, and you're friendly, I don't think you will have a problem at all in the United States. Next. Okay, this is one of the celebration. It's called St. Patrick Day. It's usually on March 14th. It remembers one of the Ireland's patron saints, St. Patrick, primarily celebrated for the Irish and Irish American culture. So they don't only celebrate American thing. This is actually Irish, right? But they celebrate it as if it's their own celebration. And this is where everyone is wearing green, and some, if you have something with the clover print, that's better. I joined them once for the parade, and it's quite fun. So this is kind of like this holiday has been celebrated on the North American continent since the late 18th century. So it's been going on for a very long time, and I think this also one of the reasons why their tolerance is built on seeing different things and different culture. Okay, next slide. This one is National American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month. It's on November. It's celebrated to recognize the intertribal cultures, to educate the public about the heritage, history, art, and traditions of the American Indian and Alaska Native people. So if you look at the map, Alaska is actually on top, and it's kind of like separated. But they celebrate this as well, and this is one of the things that we definitely can learn, and it's very interesting to see differences comes to this one place and celebrate it together. All right, next slide. Okay, this one is another famous one. It's the Martin Luther King Day. It's usually held in the third Monday in January. So usually for this Martin Luther King Day, they are making more charities to help people out. I used to distribute, I used to volunteer for distributing the free food during the Martin Luther King Day, and that's part of the grades that I have to fulfill for my course. That's one of the things that why I really take American education into my heart, is because they don't really want you to only have good grades, but they also want you to care about other people, what you do outside of your classroom and how you can help other people outside of your book that you study. Okay, last one is the opportunities, and we are running out of time and for the Q&A, but I'm still waiting for a lot of questions to arrive in our chat box and in our other platforms. So I'm going to continue to the opportunities when you study in the United States. Okay, I'm sorry that last point is about about, but I have it on top of my brain right now. So yeah. First one is the scholarship. So scholarship is very, very popular with anyone who wants to study in the United States, and we have it covered in our last session before this one, which is last week. If you guys are interested and you wonder if you can rewatch it, yes, you can. You can find it in the Facebook, or if you can find it in Facebook, you can email us. We will give it the link to you. And when we talk about scholarship, there are different types, right? For the bachelor, unfortunately, there are very, very rare full-funded scholarship, but there are, more partial scholarship that you can find. And the way to find the scholarship for the bachelor degree, especially for bachelor degree, is through their university website. Some universities will automatically consider you for their merit-based scholarship. Merit-based means based on your grades. So they will automatically consider you if you submit a certain deadline that they will mention on their website if they have that system. If not, then you will have to, try to find it and submit it accordingly through their website or their directions there. And for master and PhD, there are more opportunities, especially for the fully funded one. For master in Indonesia, a lot of people are applying for LPDP or Indonesia Endowment Fund for Education, or Fulbright that is managed by Aminef. You can check them out on their official website. LPDP is in lpdp.kemenku.go.id. You can also Google it if you missed what I just said. For Aminef, it's aminef.or.id. Just go ahead and look for this opportunity because they're very competitive. There is no easy scholarship at all, no matter how easy it looks to you, or like when you look at, oh, it's only $200 scholarship, it should be easy. No, there's no easy scholarship. Unfortunately, all scholarship is very competitive, and you have to be ready for it if you are going to go for it, especially if it's the full funded. And for PhD, good news is you don't really have to rely on LPDP or Fulbright for the full funded, because usually, especially if you are into research focused majors for the PhD, usually the university have the funding, but availability really depends on the time and the situation. So you have to check again. And like I said, if the university don't mention that you cannot contact the professor, then you may want to try to contact the professor first and make connection. And make sure you have your, for master and PhD especially, make sure to have your kind of, if you're applying for this kind of scholarship, make sure you have your research statement ready and kind of like your CV and resume ready as well. And next one is work. So when we talk about work, international students actually are not allowed to work outside of campus because that will violate your student visa status in United States. So you can work in campus, or if it's CPT or OPT. So I will explain a bit about CPT and OPT. So CPT is curricular practical training. Usually this is part of the course or the program that you are in. So you have to work a certain amount or pass certain amount of standard in the CPT in order to pass this course or this program. And there's OPT. This one is optional practical training after you earn any degree in the United States. So this means if you go to community college and you earn AA degree, you are also allowed to apply for OPT. Correct me if I'm wrong, Vina, but this is what I researched on last time. If they haven't changed it, you can apply for OPT for every degree that you earn. So that's AA degree, bachelor, master, or PhD. Of course, you have to get the job in order to work. But this OPT, if you are about to graduate, you can apply for it. And if you get this kind of like, I think it's kind of like a permit. When you get this permit of OPT, you can apply for a job, or if you already have the job, then you can start the process of legally working there. And the length of the duration of how long you can do this OPT after you graduate varies on or program you took for the degree. So for STEM, science, technology, mathematics, you can go up to 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, sorry, or 3. Was it 3 years, Vina? I think it's 3.
Additional 2 years. So on top of the 12 months, you get 2 more years. So you get a total of 3 years.
Okay, yeah. So you got a total of 3 years. And for other majors like business and the remaining that's not categorized in STEM, it's 1 year, so 12 months. And next one is travel. Yeah, there's 50 states in United States. If you have this hobby of traveling, it definitely will be very enlightening for you. And when you travel, it actually makes you see a lot of different things that makes you maybe realize what you want to do after you graduate, or realize that what are great ideas to do, maybe what you're passionate in, maybe like what you want to do but you never know it's possible until you see it directly. And last one is international networking. So when I talk about in this one classroom, there's students from other countries, and you be friend with them, and sometimes you cannot choose who you want to have in your group for the research paper. So you have to communicate with them, you have to get to know them, and you learn about where they come from, you learn about their country and their experience. And that's personally for me, that's very priceless. So even if I'm back to Indonesia right now for already 5 years, I still remember a friend from Japan, from Korea, and from Gambia when we worked together in the in-campus work job. And we also I in a group of local students and Chinese students and Korean student for a research paper. And I learned a lot of things that I never thought I would learn, even if I sign up to go to US to study. So when I decided to go to US to study, I don't know that these perks are included. So now that I know, I want to let all of you know that this opportunity is really, really rare, and it's hard to find. All right, next. Okay, affordability. This one is the last one. Next one. Okay, so this is the comparison chart on 10 most expensive countries to study in. Okay, the first one. So if you look at the chart, the longer it is, the more expensive it is, right? I'm just going for the simplest explanation here. And you can see the bottom one is the longest one, and it's not America. And the second expensive one is actually South Korea and Singapore, and US is actually not the most expensive. So yeah, it's kind of like a misconception if people say US is kind of like the most expensive study destination. All right, next slide. Okay, this is the living cost and annual university cost. So if you just saw the chart, this is one of the breakdown that they have on the website. So I had this from aprilinternational.com, and I think they are third party, and they do this for their research and information base. So the living cost in United States is actually average about almost 12,000 US dollar per year, which means about $1,000 per month. And compared to almost doubled in other countries for the rank one. And yeah, so here I want to let you know, and it differs from state to state and from city to city. So living cost and lifestyle is something that you can kind of like very flexible, that you tailor it based on what you need to do. And for the university cost, it's more expensive, but The living cost is not, and I think if you like the quality of the education that United States provide, then it's worth the cost. Okay, next slide. All right, so this one is the one that I mentioned earlier about the scholarship. These are the options that I can break it down for you here. The fully funded is the Fulbright or LPDP. Website is on the list there, but they are not. They don't fund undergraduate studies. So these fully funded scholarship that I list here is for master and PhD applicants. And official sources that are mostly partial scholarship is from the university website. You can try to find financial aid or scholarship tab in their website, or anything related to funding, the word funding. And next one is external scholarship listed in the university website. Here I just give you one example from Purdue, but I found other university is also doing this. This means they are giving out the list of external scholarship that you can check out or apply for, and then use it to study in their university. So it will look like this: funding your graduate study, a lot of a bit introduction on what they are doing, and they're explaining that this this list or this organization or foundation have nothing to do with the university, but you can check the scholarship out and see if you can apply for it. So I cropped the picture, so there's only 2 bullet points there, but there's a long list there. So this is one of the examples from Purdue. You can find other universities. They usually also give you the same, external information, extended information. But I don't think, I think the list of the scholarship will be different from one to another universities. Okay, next one. Other sources to search from if you're looking for scholarship, you can try fundingusstudy.org, gograd.org, efa.org, nature.com, or Nature Careers. This last one, the Nature Career, is actually I got it from an advisee who successfully got full funding for his PhD. And he started looking in that website, and I think it's more for the, biology and chemistry related field, because it has to happen to be nature careers. So if you are in that field or in the STEM field, you can try to go looking for there. Another one is university funding, especially if you are focused research in the PhD, is teaching assistantship, research assistantship, or graduate assistantship. So these 3 is usually if you get this TA or RA, is usually they will pay your tuition fee, so you don't have to pay your tuition fee at all. And on top of that, they will give you stipend. Stipend is like allowance that they will give out to you on every month. But of course, this TA, RA, or GA will have some what you give back to them. So usually it's the number of hours, like how long you have to assist them in their research or assist them in their graduate program and all of that things. So it's kind of like in exchange of the tuition fee and the stipend. All right. It's very fun to do this, and I hope that this is helpful to all of you who are trying to get to know more about U.S. universities and education. And now it's time for Q&A. I send your questions in the chat box in Zoom, or comment box if you are in social media. I know I keep on repeating on this, but just in case you just join us in few minutes. All right, I will start with the first question. This one is from Facebook. His name is Christian. Hi, I am Christian Sukan from Salatiga. I have a big question. Did we get to meet the president of the university? Okay, this one is a very fun question. And to be honest with you, I never meet the president of, wait a second. I think I met the president, but only a very brief moment. So there's this gathering of the anniversary of the university, and everyone, the faculty, the staff, the president gathered in this one hall, and we just shake hands. And but yeah, unless there's this event that gathers everyone, faculty and president, in one place, and you happen to be attending, I don't think you will meet the president directly, unless there's this, if you're awarded by something really, really special and they call you to the office and everything like that. But yeah, no, and I don't think that, even if you meet him, maybe like in the coffee shop or something, in your cafeteria, and you talk to him or her, I think they will be very friendly to you as well. So yeah, I think that, and I hope that answers your. Okay, next one is from Priscilia Winata in YouTube. Can I join any club or extracurricular activities in the university if I take master degree? I don't think there is, a restriction on what kind of club you. I mean, there's no restriction on why international students shouldn't join this and that, unless, you have to check if this club is welcoming international students, or how to join this club. Can join this club, because sometimes it really depends on what kind of club you are talking about, but most of the time they are really welcoming international students to join the club in the university. And usually there is always this events or a club that is meant for international community, so you can check that out. And there's also women club these days, so if that is your passion or your calling, you can totally research that, if certain university have this or that club that you you want to contribute to. Okay, I hope that answers your question. And I think Fina will have to answer some questions from here as well. Hi, Fina.
Yes. Hi, Zantika. Thank you so much for the great presentation. Like, it really brings me back to my time when I was in the US, and just starting to realize there are so many things that I really love to share with a lot of you guys. And that's kind of like something that I do when we're doing one-on-one session with the advisees. So for those of you who have not joined the advising session with Santika or myself, we really urge you to talk to us, because when you're doing an advising with us, it's not so much about, like, okay, let's do this, and then we're just diving into like the application process, but it's so lay back, it's very personal. And so yeah, there's sometimes I would have a chat with some of the advisees, and sometimes they ask about my experience in the US and stuff like that, and of course you're more than welcome to ask as many questions as possible. But okay, so there are a couple of questions in from Facebook, from YouTube, from Zoom, which is really great questions. So I'm gonna start answering some of them. Hopefully, we got one from Facebook from Moza Muzayana. Hopefully, you're still watching. So Moza is asking, is there any requirement regarding age when someone wants to pursue a graduate study in the US? That's a really great question. The answer is no, and this is applicable also to undergraduate. So for S1, so technically when you want to study in the US, there is no age limit. But let's say you are a 21-year-old person, and then you want to study bachelor's degree or S1 in the US. Well, technically the university will happy to have you, but that might raise some suspicious when you are applying for the student visa application, because why are you being a 21 years old and still want to do bachelor study. But for graduate study, it's quite normal that you might want to take it after 5, 4, 7, 10 years, even after working, and then you want to go back to go back to school. But maybe you want to also pay attention about when we're talking about scholarship, for example, the government scholarships such as like LPDP. I think they have an age limit in there. But yeah, basically from the university. There's no age limit whatsoever. We got one from YouTube from Fieri Cristianto. Hopefully you're still watching this. The question is, I'm interested in applying at one of the Ivy Leagues for material science master's degree program. My question is, what will boost my admission? Is it making science publication, or what else? What does those university value the most in the application? So it's a really good question. There is no easy answer to answer this. There's no easy way to answer this, I'm sorry, because Santika earlier mentioned about, like how the US universities are very holistic when it comes to applying to US universities. So it's applicable to even highly selective universities such as the Ivy League as well. So it's not, I mean, if you have time and you are actually planning to make some kind of science publication like what you said here, then by all means do that. But don't do it just because you want to apply for an Ivy League, So, the easiest way to answer it, maybe don't try too hard. Jangan maksa gitu ya, ibaratnya kayak when you want to study in the US and then just because you want to aim for like highly selective, so then you try so hard just to getting in. But as long as that's kind of like already on your plan to, have some application and all that, I mean, it's like your overall profile. That's something that when we're doing a one-on-one advising session on step 1, which is research your option, that's basically when I'm really trying to understand you better. And oftentimes I'm not even like looking at your GPA. This is something that a lot of people usually wondered, why don't you ask my GPA? And but then no, I mean, I don't really think that's like a big issue here, but more like what is it that your intention about when you want to study in the US, and that will be reflected on your essay. So that's why essay plays a really huge role in the application process. But then of course there's not only just essay, but then everything else. If they're asking for your GRE, especially if you want to do some kind of like a science, math, which plays a huge role, of course they're going to take a look at your GRE quant, right? And of course also your English, the English standardized test that they are asking, like TOEFL or IELTS, it's there, and you can really like play around with it. So if they are asking 100 on TOEFL IBT, basically that's the score that you really want to have. So it's kind of like your overall profile, which I want to say the bigger chunk of it is from your essay, so that the university can actually really understand what is it that your intention about to study in their campus. So I hope that answered your question. If not, please talk to us one-on-one via Zoom. We got one from Zoom by Astrid Romana. What are the differences between the US and European education system? This is a really good question. So I want to say, when we take a look at how other countries outside the US really value or really review applicants, I want to say they are mostly pay more attention on your academic performance. So they will take a look mostly on your past transcript. So if you want to study masters, then they will really take a look at your GPA for when you did your bachelor's. And then they are asking for essay, but I want to say that the essay is something that hanya formalitas, I want to say. I don't think it has like a really huge role in your application, unlike the US. That's what makes essay writing to US universities really, really challenging for some of us. Because again, like when it comes to essay in the US, they really, really want to know, they're really kepo, they really want to know what is it that your intention really applying to our campus. What is it? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to help? Who are you trying to help? What are you trying to change when you're done with the degree? Whereas other countries, like European universities, it's mostly like autobiography. So something that you can actually take from your CV. A lot of people start with, "Hi, my name is Vina. I graduated from University of da 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 with a cum laude," something that you want to show off a lot from to the admission committee. And a lot of us thought that is what the US university is also about, but it's completely the opposite. So, and also another thing that I heard a lot from people, so because I've never been to, I don't have any European um, education experience, but what I heard from people from, those who studied in the European countries and they moved to the US, they said one thing, which is like, they're different people, but they pretty much say the same thing. They said about how outside the US, when you are doing your study, it's mostly about theory and knowledge. Like, you definitely get the knowledge for sure, but then that's about it. Whereas when you go to the US, it's all about the knowledge, the theory, the whatever lectures that you got from the professor, but then also the innovation. That's why, again, I keep connecting it with essay, because that's really related, right? Like, they really want to know what is it that you want to do, because once you're done with the US education system, almost everyone that I know, almost my friends or even like my advisors who already come back to the US, they go back to Indonesia, they flash their degree, but then they are doing whatever they are saying it on the essay. Like, they make everything done like right away. They start implementing what they have studied in the US like right away. Whereas a lot of people from other countries, they flash their degree, but then when they come back, they're okay, what I'm gonna do now? You know what I mean? Like, they're still questioning things, what they want to do. Whereas in the US, yeah, you can't really do that. You really want to know, you really want to have like a concrete plan. So I can basically, I talk a lot about this, but I basically have about maybe 2-3 minutes. So I'm gonna try answering the last question, hopefully. Let's see here. When I was studying, I could get information on human resource, the education there. This question is not really clear. I'm so sorry. If you can actually email us, and then we can actually continue this one-on-one, that would be actually really great. But yeah, something that I wanna like share with you guys again, like what Santika has mentioned during the presentation, it's really great. I took some notes actually here, and I want to say that I would say that the US, if you are looking for the best real college and life experience that you could get, I would definitely pick the US. I know I sound really biased because I'm with EducationUSA, but Santika and I can basically talk from our experience. I did my bachelor's degree in the US. I spent a total of 6 years in the US. And so if you guys are here for bachelor's degree, consider yourself lucky, because maybe you don't really see that now. Maybe you're kind of like, oh man, like, I'm going to go to college in the US. But like now that looking back, like, again, like what Santika said, it really shaped of who I am today. I'm pretty sure that has anything to do with me spending 6 years in the US, because we're talking about just graduating high school. We're talking about 18 years old, me, and then, got to live in the US on my own, and so for those of you who want to study master's degree, maybe you won't get like the experience as much as those who are studying bachelor's degree, but it doesn't mean that you can't get any of those. And so if you are at the moment, maybe still thinking about studying outside the US, and one of the reasons is because, you know what, I don't want to study for 2 years. I don't have time. I just want to study for 1 year. Trust me, those who said that and then they end up in the US with a 1-year program, coming back, they regret everything. They said, oh my goodness, I wish I found a program that has 2 years, or maybe even more, because they said 1 year, it's practically nothing, like you're just about to defeat the culture shock of living in the US. And then once you kind of like feel, okay, I can do this, and then done, like you're done with your study, and then you have to go back home. So yeah, if you really want to hear more of this topic, please let us know. This is something that I don't really often do this, but I would actually have like an alumni coming in to actually share their experience. But then again, really, if you want to hear more about this, let us know, and we'll be very happy to talk more about this. And so yeah, I think we can stop there. But again, really thank you guys so much for tuning in. We got some great questions, and if you have more questions, please let us know. And yeah, Santika, do you have anything else, or maybe you can give it back to
So yeah, we actually got 2 more questions in the Zoom chat box, and I have already answered them. It's from Arik and from Desirina. But if you guys have more further questions, please feel free to contact us, not only for Arik and for Desirina, for everyone who is watching, whether you are in Zoom or not. Our Zoom ID is 276-124-396. We are available any day between 1 until 9 p.m. If you're shy, you want to email us first, go ahead. It's jakarta.atamerica@educationusa.org. And if you're in Zoom, I already put it in the chat box. You can just copy paste that. Thank you everyone for coming. I hope you enjoyed this and find it helpful. And I'll give it back to Anton. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Santika and Fina. There was a very wonderful session and a very great presentation. Now I believe that we have all learned more about studying in the United States. That was a very wonderful presentation. I'd like to thank both of you. And now, before we end today's event, I would like to announce the winner of the icebreaking question that I gave to you guys earlier in the event. I'm going to repeat the question. The question is, how many international students studied in the United States last year? And the answer, there were 1,095,299 international students recorded according to the Institute of International Education. And for our winner today, congratulations to @Brambut from Instagram. Congratulations. And now you may be wondering how you can propose an awesome idea for an awesome place like this. Well, wonder no more. You can come to our website at www.atamerica.or.id. You can go to create an event and then collaborate with us, and then you can submit your proposal there. And all proposals coming to us will be reviewed, and your event might just end up here very soon. And while you're on our website, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter to get more information about our upcoming events straight to your inbox. Well, it has been fun, folks. This has been such a wonderful event. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on social media at AT America. And we hope to see you again at the next Ad America TV event. Goodbye, everybody.